word on the street, and I can only tell you what's been relayed to us. Word on the street is that Michelle Bullock will cut rates, whether she does or not. She's a tricky character, Michelle Bullock. It's she could go either way, but 95% is saying that she'll do it. I think she's got to be under pressure to do it. Like, what more has to be done? Inflation is sitting in the two metrics that she wanted. It's sitting in the middle somewhere, and she's always said once it gets to that certain level, that certain number, then she'll cut. You can't keep on hammering the consumer. You can't keep on hammering small businesses either. Every single time, like 13, 14 interest rate rises. That's just unheard of.
Yeah.
So something has to give now. People are out there really suffering.
Yeah.
It cannot continue.
Yeah.
And if she does not cut it in when is it, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then I think all hell will break loose.
Yeah. Well, we had a canary in the coal mine go off last week. Last week we saw the largest glass manufacturer go bankrupt. That was in Dandenong, so they were the largest producer.
Wow.
And they were a large, from what I understand, I can stand corrected on this, but they're a large producer of fittings that go into houses being built.
See, there you go.
So they've obviously only been able to withstand the current tide to now, and now if the largest provider, yes, the smaller providers may be able to mop up some of that space, but that's a canary going off, going, we've hit a crunch point, that the economy can't sustain this any longer.
It can't. No.
So I'm very hopeful, but I also know as a child of the 1990s, the Reserve Bank doesn't give a damn. They have got one charter and one charter only.
Yeah.
And they will achieve that by hook or by crook.
They can't keep on trying to achieve that and destroying businesses. You're right. We saw a lot of the really large housing construction companies fall under all these interest rates because it's just not viable anymore. Yeah. She's got to give some relief. She really has to. As I said, I think all hell will break loose if she doesn't.
Particularly given the Albanese government's wanting to see 200,000 new dwellings being built, and you can't do that in the current environment. It's not possible.
And you know what? Brokers are the most resilient people I have ever seen in my life. This industry is the most resilient. What we will do, this is what brokers will do, Laurie. They will embrace it. They'll embrace something. It may not be all of this AI type situation, but they'll embrace something within that space that is going to make life maybe better, quicker, more sustainable, but they will find something. We as an industry will find something. AI as it is, I think there's some really good stuff in there. But AI, you just got to be careful with on how far you take it, because at the end of the day, this industry was built on relationships as well, personal relationships as well. So if you start getting all your business into AI, I don't know how far that would take your business. I think you may be using it to someone that wants relationship, because it's a variety that we have in our industry. It's just not one tunnel. Future of broking, we're just going to keep on going up and up and up. This is where I guess we have to be careful with, that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves in regard to that we're invincible. We've now hit this level where we're 73 or 74, then we've got to keep our heads on. We really do. And just don't get embroiled in figures in regard to, where's this much percentage. We just have to keep on sticking to our knitting, doing what we do fantastic, and that's making sure the Australian consumer is getting, I guess, we have them get their dreams, because that hasn't been a lot of late over the last few years. But not only that, we've just got to keep on looking at ways that we advance as an industry.
Yeah.
Is AI one of it? Yes, it is,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not. But there'll be little pockets in AI that's really going to be useful to our industry. And that's why I reckon, and that's where we'll hone in on that
Yeah.
and grab them, and then we'll lift up our industry again.
Yeah, and I think your very first statement about the human experience, the consumer experience, that's going to be the challenge, to be able to go, yeah, there's some great tech there,
Yeah.
but people are people, and they want to deal with people for the most part. We've got millennials coming through who may not, but you know what, at the end of the day, they still ask questions. I've got 3 kids, they still ask questions, even though they spend their whole life attached to an iPad.
I agree, but do you know what with that component there? Believe it or not, there's figures that show they're the ones that are also driving the face-to-face relationship,
Okay.
because they ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
You know, they're very inquisitive. They want to know it all in regard to this and this. But they'll go, no, I want to meet you. I want to eyeball you and all that. So yeah, it's interesting.
That's really interesting, because 5 years ago, when I was studying my disruption and innovation units at uni, the digital native was being shown as being, okay, this is the future, this is where AI and machine learning and everything else is going to come in, because I don't want to talk to anybody. 5 years later now, it seems maybe it ain't so. So I'd be interested to go away and have a look at that.
Yeah, have a look at that. I mean, it's, you know, if that was the case, then all these online lenders would just be booming.
Yeah, and they're not.
And the mortgage brokers type of thing would be going down. It's not. Mortgage broking is going up. You know, and what we introduced was, you know, virtual. You can still see each other, like on Teams.
Yeah.
Teams meeting. Oh, that's been unbelievable, because you can feel. I'm a big fan of face to face. Always have been. Always will be. But sometimes it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
And doing a Teams meeting is you can still feel and start forming the relationship because you're eyeballing them.
Yeah.
I think that's what's lifted our industry as well.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting fact you raise. I raised this in an environment about 18 months ago that over the phone you get 80% of the information. Over Teams you'll probably get 85 to 90% of the information. Face to face you'll get 99% of the information. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's body electricity and chemicals in the air.
Yeah,
Who
knows?
knows?
But you throw all those in a bucket,
Yeah.
and you'll come out with something. And this is why the industry's going up and up, because we're just not focused on one thing anymore.
Yeah,
we've got a nice, a variety, like the regional areas.
Yeah,
they've been able to really come into their own as well, because they can have the technology to speak to, say, a property owner, a farmer out. That he can't just drive in.
Yeah.
Or he or she can't just drive in.
Very handy.
So now they can have this, and they can form the relationship as much as they can on this. I think that's a biggie.
Yeah.
That we now have that to offer.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I think, and that's what I used to say, and I still say to the accountants, the professional services sector. Your core business is this. Your core business, that could be an account. That's your core business. Core business, financial, that's your core business. But if you don't start being able to offer all these little spokes that come off your core business, you have, I guess, the risk of losing your core business. Because they'll go to someone that can offer them more than one thing. Now, they don't have to be the expert in that other offering, but they can position it that it's part and parcel of their business. We identified probably about 2.5, 3 years ago that we believed that lending, the commercial, was going to start being a big component.
Yeah.
Then an asset on top of that. So that's when we decided to build and create our own mentoring program, probably more than 3 years ago, to tell you the truth, on commercial. Because we're saying, we could see it. We could just see it bubbling there, that some brokers, they don't want to refer out. They want to learn. They want to add to their core business. So if their core business is resi, they want to now gain additional skill sets to assist their clients. But what it also does, it attracts new clients for them, and it gives them a beautifully balanced business overall. So if something's happening in the residential market, usually commercial goes up. Okay, so then if they're in that space, it's not going to have such a major impact on their business. If all the eggs are over here in one basket, it gets a hit, they've got nothing else coming in to prop it up.
Yeah.
So we're a big fan of this, have been for a while. It's nothing new for us. So the commercial mentoring program is a very popular mentoring program, and we can see it within our business. So outsourcing, I say it up front, it used to be 99% 99% resi, 1% commercial asset. That's changed. The change has changed dramatically.
Yeah, because you'd have the full oversight as to what's coming through.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's this beautiful balance we're starting to see amongst our members. We've got, some of our members in the top commercial brokers now, because then they went through the mentoring program. They were purely resi, added commercial, added asset.
Yeah.
And they've got, it's just, it's fantastic. And so that's why we did it. We identified that was going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, we sit here today and commercial and asset are the big talking things.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness we're ahead of that game. So
yeah, good foresight.
I just think for the existing mortgage brokers out there, we really have to just be fully focused on what we're here for. Don't get all embroiled in about, like I said before, the percentages that we're doing. Don't get slack on this, because we're doing so high a percentage. That's going to give us more, I guess, the situation that we're being looked at more. So don't slacken off. Your compliance, I know a lot of the brokers don't like compliance, or boo-hoo, get over it, because that compliance is going to save your butt if there's a situation that a consumer's given you something a bit that they shouldn't have and it doesn't look right. You doing this compliance spot on, and you don't, I'm not saying go overboard, I'm saying do your due diligence, the double D, because that's really going to get you up and up and up, and won't get you into trouble. Maybe a little bit time consuming, but it's worth not losing your accreditation and your business over. And also too, you've got to make sure that you are educating the consumer, because they're your clients, and you must give them an educated information that they can go away with and make an educated decision. So don't slacken off. Let's just keep on trying to really keep on lifting this industry. So no matter who comes in and has a look, or are we actually acting upon best interest duty? Have things in place that if you ever get a knock at the door, or if ASIC says maybe it's now time to have a look, and you as an industry prove to us that you are acting in the best interest of your client, then you've got it all there that you can go tick, 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 and then they go away. That's what I'm saying. Don't drop the ball.
Thank you very much. And that plays straight into one of our other mottos of partnerships over competition, that's being shared with any broker who might happen to be watching this, not just outsourced brokers, but that's words of wisdom to anybody within the industry. So thank you very much, Tanya.
Thank
you so much for your
Thanks,
time.
Laurie. Thank you.
No worries.
And thank you for choosing outsource.
Thank you.